Welcome back, my friends. If you chose pile 3 for your love reading, these are going to be your messages. Pile 3 did have the rose quartz on it. I do have one Whispers of Love tarot here that I will hold off for a second. I'm getting cards from the Herbal tarot today. I love these cards. I think they're a little romantic looking. That's why I use them for my love readings. So I will pull a few of these just to see what's next in your love life. So what's next for pile number 3 in love? Let's see what we got here. You got the Lover's card. Oh, that's a clue. Let's see, 8 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, Earth energy here, Gemini energy, major arcana for Gemini and minor arcana for Gemini, so that's interesting. Got a couple more there, and I think we're going to go with those. The Emperor, wow, and Medicine Wheel, Aries energy. Okay, I will get a couple of Druid Crafts Tarot also. I should have actually cleansed these cards before I started doing the reading, but I forgot. Okay, so we're looking at pile 3 here. What's coming next for pile 3 in love? What's next in love? Let me give these a good shuffle. Make sure I shuffle them up real well, and then I'm going to cut them. I don't like it when these fall out. I like to cut these. They're so big. 3 of Pentacles. 5 of Cups, and 4 of Cups. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's take a look at the Whispers of Love and see what you have. Okay, new love. Embrace an opportunity for love in your work prospects or for spiritual growth. Okay, so I get that. I get that this new love can be about other things. It can be about spiritual growth. It can be about work. But in this particular reading, since this is a reading about what's next in love, I do think you have a new love coming in here. You got the Lover's card, which talks about a choice in love, always. Now, it's not always between two people. It can sometimes be between something that you love and someone that you love, or something that you love and something else, or someone that you love and something else. But there is a choice, has something to do with love. Because there are 2 men here on the board, I'm going to say it is, well, let's not say men. Okay, so 2 masculine energies for sure. This is very strong masculine energy, whether you are male or female. So you do have 2 masculine energies on the board. So I do feel like for some of you, it is a choice between a couple of people. Now this one king, now when you get to the king stage, you're over 35. So when you're talking about age, it's 35 and over. One of them's very practical, very down to earth. Again, this is Gemini for me, where a lot of people read all the coins as earth signs. So it could be a really earthy person that might have some air energy about them. But let's just talk about the Geminis for real quick, they're very mental, they're very communicative, they're very idealistic, they're very communicative. Like that is really their strength, and usually that's verbal. They're not necessarily the writers unless they have something else going on, you know. They're storytellers, but it's usually verbal. They're great with speaking. But let's just also talk about the earth elements that are in this card, and that is very grounded, very practical, very stable. So it's someone like that who's very smart, but also very grounded and stable. Okay, so the Emperor is Aries energy. Now, because this is not a king, this is the Emperor, so he is the King of Kings. This guy's very established. He has a kingdom. Now, actually he doesn't have a king. Yeah, he has a kingdom with kings under him that rule parts of his kingdom for him. He is the Emperor, okay? Aries energy, fire sign, passionate, enthusiastic, interesting, entrepreneurial. This is definitely some kind of business owner, some kind of business person, somebody that has a kingdom. Again, over the age of 35, because we're at Emperor stage, maybe even older than that, maybe 40s, 50s. But, you know, depending on how old you are, right? I think it's significantly older than whatever your age is, 10 years or so. So, I do feel like for some of you, you have a choice between two people that are like that read very masculine, even if it's a woman, okay? So this 3, 4, 5, this is a progression down here, and I want to talk a little bit about this because I feel like this is what's next. This is kind of a little bit of where you're at, so I do want to mention it. I feel like you guys have been, maybe this is included in that too. I feel like you guys have been really focused on your work. Really focused on your work. Like maybe it has been so consuming that you've kind of let everything else go by the wayside. And how long this has been happening, I don't know. I think you do have good ideas for, well, actually it's not focused on your work, it's building a career. That's what's been important to you. The 3 of Pentacles talks about having creative ideas. You notice he's actually almost what do you call it, like interning or apprenticing under somebody else. He's got the ideas, but he's taken it and he is running with it. But there's been a lot of labor involved and a lot of work involved in you building up these pinnacles and you establishing this career for yourself. It hasn't been easy. It's been tough. So I do feel like that's where all of your energy has been focused on let's just say in recent years. Maybe the last 3 years. So for some of you longer, like 3 to 8 years. Okay, so this 4 of Cups talks about there have been people that have offered possibilities in relationships, and you kind of have not been satisfied with any of the options that have presented themselves to you. Because I feel like some of you have been maybe mourning something in your past that has been long gone, but almost you've had a little bit of trouble letting it go. Because you've had this situation where the options you've had are not very good or don't look appealing to you, and because there was something in your past that was almost perfect, like it had so many elements of a good relationship that when it ended, it was very difficult for you because you really thought that one was the right one. It wasn't, of course, or you would still be together. If it were the right one, it would be. Nothing that is for you would ever pass you by. So if this relationship's over, there was some really good reasons for it to be over. Maybe the divine knew some stuff that you didn't know, you know? So now the Five of Cups does have a message in it, in that if he would turn around, he would see these two cups that are here for him. It may be 2 options in relationships, maybe 4 options in relationships. And this cup is behind him, and he's not looking at it. He's focused on the cups that are dissatisfying to him, or the cups that are gone. If he could just turn around, and I know it's easy to say, but think about how simple that is. If you would just stop the focus on this, just turn around, then you could see the love that is coming for you. And I do feel like that's happening. Because we're talking about what's next. I feel like it's happening because you've got the medicine wheel. Wheels are always talking about movement, and it's always talking about movement forward. The wheel is turning. It is turning in your favor. And it brings you options for romance. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave these almost off the table, because I feel like that's all past, and we want to talk about this wheel turning forward and the options that you have coming in love. We'll leave this because I think that new love is important. I think it's happening. All right. So you have at least 2 options. I think some of you, because of the 3 cups that are in the other direction here, I think some of you may have more than 2 options coming at you. But you do have opportunities for new love coming in. So here's what we want to ask, or here's what I want to know. I have to write it down so won't forget. Okay, I want to know characteristics of the options, like what their personalities are. I want to know when these opportunities are coming in, or when the wheel is turning, right? Maybe where you might meet. How you will know, characteristics of them and how you will know them. Know that, it's an option for you. How will you will know their options worth pursuing. And the reason I want to know that is because you've had options, but they've been kind of blah. And maybe that's because you've been kind of blah about it. So I think it's important in this reading to figure out how you're going to know, okay, this is maybe one of my options that I would want to maybe go out to some dinners with, get to know a little bit, and see where it goes. Okay. So, I will be starting with the characteristics for your options. And I'm going to go with 2 options for now. Like I said, I feel like for some of you there may be more than 2, but I think I'll just have to go with the 2 that are on the table. Okay, so characteristics for option 1. Characteristics for option 1, pile 3. Shapeshifter. Light attributes are skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see potential in everything. So that's kind of somebody that's pretty deep. What else about option 1 can you tell us? Maybe somebody that meditates. Maybe somebody's very spiritual. Okay, wow, okay. That all came out. All right, addict. Helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. Midas or miser, their entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold. Delight in sharing life's riches, so they're generous too. Judge. Balancing, the light attributes are balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. That almost seems like a Libra to me. I'm getting a lot of air energy actually in this reading, in this person. Gemini, Libra, there's air energy here. So that would be Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Avenger. Desires to balance the scales of justice. Goes with judge, right? Righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. Okay, this is a pretty cool person here. This is, okay, they may have had some struggles with addiction in the past. No judgment, right? We all have things we got to overcome as human beings. We all got our things. And addiction can also be anything. It can be substances, it can be food, it can be addicted to sex, it can be addicted to the wrong people too. You can get addicted to a personality type that becomes bad for you. You can be addicted to people. You can be obsessive. You know, whatever this is, I feel like they've kind of overcome it, because I feel they got into their spiritual life to help them overcome that. They're kind of a humanitarian. The Judge and the Avenger reads to me as someone who wants justice, wants to see people being treated fairly, and is willing to stand up for a cause, and is also willing to protect protect people who need to be protected, which almost sounds like police officer, military, something like that. Maybe they're not in the military now, but maybe they were in the military at one time. But definitely a pretty cool, socially conscious person. And then this last thing tells me that they have figured out the money situation. Like, they're good with their finances. They've kind of built, again, it's a king and a very practical king. So they've kind of built something in the financial way. They've got control of their money. They're good at their money. They use it for what they need, but they don't worship money. They're just good at it, and they're very generous with it at the same time. So, okay, that's a pretty cool person. That's a pretty cool option 1. I want to take a look at option 2 now, and we're kind of leaning towards this. We'll just go ahead and put this over here. We'll put this over here. I'll get these cards off the table. I think this is like your past and not really relevant anymore. It does tell us a little bit about where you're at right now. So the wheel's turning, and you've got some choices in love. That's cool. Let's put these people, this one here, this one here. Okay, because we're going to ask more questions about these connections here that might be coming up for you. Let's talk about this Emperor. Again, male or female, don't get caught up in the mass. We all have masculine and feminine in us. So that almost indicates mastery of the sign that they represent. So when you're talking about a Gemini, mastery of communication and idealism, again, goes back to that social consciousness. So they're like masters of those traits. When you talk about mastery of Aries, you're talking about mastery of the passion and letting that passion work for you instead of being impulsive and being enthusiastic. One of my favorite things about the air signs or the fire signs are that every day they're so optimistic, and every day is a new day. They just don't let past hurts kind of really weigh them down too much, which I think is cool, because I am an air sign. I'm always in my head about stuff, it can be kind of hard to let some stuff go. The fire signs are not like that, and I love that about them. I wish I had more of that. But Aries particularly very good at entrepreneurs, business people. But I feel like that's already in the Emperor card, because that's you know, like they've built a kingdom. So tell us the characteristics of this option 2 for pile 3. Let's see if there's anything else. Option 2, pile 3. Tell us the characteristics. Oh, I like this. I like this a lot. Okay. So this person, my first thought was, when those flipped out, was look at the colors, how those kind of all go together. Okay. Beggar. Confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Trickster. Transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. I love that. Different. This person's different. They're avant-garde. They're passionate. They do things. They have their own path that they follow. Athlete. Dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps. Development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. That person's dedicated. Hard work to their overcoming physical challenges. These two I love a lot too. Child, magical, and storyteller. Those go together to me. This person may be some kind of trickster, storyteller, magic. Has something to do with magic. We got magic here twice. Storyteller. Okay, you know, I said these people are more verbal, maybe not the writers. This person may be a writer, and may have written stories about, maybe child stories, maybe stories like fantasy kind of stories, like Lord of the Rings and that kind of stuff. Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, that fantastical stuff. So I didn't read these two. Storyteller, the light attributes are ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. I will say this though, just fire sign traits, they are great storytellers because they've had so many experiences. They get out there and they go on adventures and they experience life to the fullest in a very physical do way. I'm going to have this experience. I'm going to have this experience. That in itself makes them great storytellers. So this person seems to have used their, and I do feel like they're older. So they have, you know, done some interesting things, and I feel like they use that information to tell their stories. Child magical, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Again, one of those things they're great salespeople because they're so positive. They wake up every day. It's a new day. They can accomplish anything that they want to accomplish, whatever it is, however hard it may seem at the time. They're still, they can do it. All things are possible. Okay, so you got two really cool people here. One may be a little more cerebral. One may be more of the earth and doing things in a very action-oriented way. One more of a thinker, one more of an actor. Not an actor, but maybe an actor. But action-oriented. Adventure. See this bigger thing again. Confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, Compassion and self-esteem. You know what this just tells me? This is a self-made person. Like maybe that they at one time were poor or homeless or something, or maybe they grew up poor or something, but that gave them the strength and determination to say, okay, nobody's going to take care of me. I'm going to have to take care of myself. I'm going to have to go out and do this. So they may have had poverty in their past, and it drives them to. It has driven them. They've already done it. They've already created an empire, but it drove them to create their empire. That knowledge that nobody was going to take care of them. Nobody was going to take care of them. They had to take care of themselves. It's a self-made man or a self-made woman. That's what it is. Athlete just means that they might be really physical. They might be going to the gym all the time, or they're out doing things like riding bicycles, or there's a rabbit outside. It's so cute. Like riding bicycles, or and I get the cycling, like the century riders. I'm not talking about just going for a little ride like I do on my bike. Just go for a little tootle ride. They're not like that. They're athletes in some way. They play sports or whatever. And again, they're great storytellers, and I feel, and I'm feeling some bit of interest in magic, fantasy. What do they call? I think it's called fantasy. Those kinds of stories, like Lord of the Rings and that kind of stuff. I think that's called. I mean, I want to say it could be science fiction, but I really feel it's more magic, which that's cool. Maybe they are a magician. Sorry, I can't keep my eyes off the rabbit. It's so cute. Okay. What else did we want to know? How you will know this person, and I'll do a card for each one. Got my Universal Waite deck out for this particular question, which is how you will know this person is someone that you want to at least get to know a little bit better. Because I feel like you've had some opportunities in the past that have passed you by for whatever reason. So I want to see how you will know option one. How will pile 3 know option 1 when they see it? When they come into their life, how will you know this person? Okay. Gosh, that's a lot of cards to say how. Got the Fool. You got the 6 of, what is that? 6 of Wands. You got the Strength. You got the 7 of Swords, and you got the Ace of Wands. I'm holding off on that. I'll tell you why, because I think that answers another question. How will you know them? So I feel like there is some I don't I'm oh my gosh. Okay. This is so weird. This is so bizarre. I feel like there's some event, maybe a circus, maybe what's connected to, what's like the circus, like the state fair, some event that has animal acts in it, because I'm getting circus tents and lion tamer here. maybe a medieval fair, also has competitions. There's some kind of maybe jousting competitions, or it's something like that. It's something like that. It's something fun. It's something like a fair, like a festival. Maybe connected to animals. That may not be for all of you. For some of you, I do really think it's a circus. Like there's a circus in town and you go to it and maybe you meet this person. Maybe there's an Oktoberfest event, or maybe there's some kind of competition and maybe some kind of racing, sporting event. Something where someone has to prove themselves. Maybe like I know it's not the Olympics time, but like that, like an Olympic event or something like that. Let's see what else I'm getting here. Anything else? How you will know them. How will you know them? They will be the winner. They will be involved in whatever this is. They will be if it's a circus and there are animal acts, they'll be the person that's doing the animal act. They'll be the one that's running the show, or they'll be the one that's winning. They'll be involved in this event in some way. Okay, so that's how you know them. It's some type of event, and they're involved in it, and it's a festival, it's a circus, it's a fair, it's something like that. Okay. And they'll be involved in it in some way. I think it's going to be different for all of you. Some of them, it depends on where you meet them at, right? If you meet them at a car race, they're one of the racers. And by the way, if you meet them at some kind of sporting events, they're the winner. They're the one that wins. So that's how you know that's the one. That could be very small scale. It could be in your, like if you have municipal sports in your hometown, maybe they're the star player, I guess, on a softball team that causes the win. It's that kind of thing. Okay. I'm going to leave that there. I think that's enough for you to interpret that for you and for your life and for what kinds of things you do, what kinds of things you may be wanting to do in the near future, because I feel like this card answers the when for us, when you will confront this person, when you will meet them. The Ace of Wands is the fall. So if you're watching this in real time, I'm filming this in September 2021. It's very soon because we are entering the fall right now. September, October, November, those are the fall months. If you are watching this at another time, then look to the fall of the next fall, whenever that is for you. Like if you're watching it in December, look to fall for being the time to meet this person. But for those of you that are watching it in real time, I think it's happening very soon that you meet this one. Okay, so I got the when, I got the how will you know them, which also answers the where. So I think that this actually answers all of the other questions that I had. So that's this one. And I have those same questions for this side over here. How will you know? And we'll start with how will you know, but I do also want to know when you will meet them and where. So we'll get whatever comes up in these cards. If we don't get those answers to those questions in these cards, I'll pull clarifiers for that. But how much of that you can tell me right now, that'd be good. Not with these, I'm sorry, wrong cards. With these cards. Okay, so for option 2 here, pile 3, we're looking at how will you know this person? How will you know when you meet this person and there's someone that you want to pursue to get to know better, to pursue a relationship, maybe. I got a card that's flipped here. It's going to drive me nuts till I get rid of it. Till I flip it back over, it's going to drive me nuts. There we go. All right, for option 2. How will you know this option 2? How will you know when you meet them? How will you know this is somebody? Oh, 6 of Cups, the Emperor twice. So they have that energy. They have that Aries energy, that fire sign energy. So that just may be such a clue. The fire in them. Again, fire. Sagittarius. Page of Wands. Queen of Cups. Interesting. Scorpio. Emotional. Mother energy. One more. Let's go one more. How we know? 2 of Swords. Okay. Let me study these for a second. How will you know this is somebody you want to pursue a relationship with? Okay, I gotta tell you, you guys. For some of you, it's somebody in your past that you couldn't make a decision about that's coming back in. So that's how some of you will know them. Some of you will know this person because you meet them when you're out on an adventure. Maybe you're going hiking or something. But it's maybe, for some of you, it's in France. Like you're going to France for some kind of vacation or something. For some of you, it's out on some kind of adventure, some kind of travels that you're on, a vacation. That kind of thing. Maybe by the sea. For some of you, they may be fishing when you meet them. So I think this Emperor came out twice because that just reiterates that this is going to be how you know them. Like they're really, 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 and I mean really well established. Like they have something going on. Maybe they're big in real estate or something. They have some kind of big business, and that's how you'll know them. They are the Emperor. You'll recognize them because they're the big guy, and maybe you don't meet that kind of people all the time that are playing life at that level. This guy plays at a high level. And I say guy because this is very masculine energy. It could be a woman, but I'm feeling man so much, and I'm in that fire sign thing because that's just been broadened to. With these cards to Sagittarius. So we got Aries and Sagittarius, but they're still very fiery. For some of you, I feel like your if they're connected to your mother, like your mother knew them as a child, like maybe she babysat them or something like that. But there is a connection to your mom. Okay, I think that's it for that. That's how you will know them. Well, because of that, I think because there's so many different houses there for so many people that are watching, you know, I think that changes the where you will meet them based on your story, based on which one of those stories you meant something to you, like the connection to your mom. Maybe they were from your past. Maybe you meet them out on a vacation. Maybe at the ocean. Maybe they're fishing. Maybe you just meet them at the ocean. It's not a vacation. Maybe you just go to the beach and they're fishing. So that changes the where for all of you. So I'm not going to ask that question, but I will ask. This is the most important thing right here. I think this is how you know them mostly. Is just the level at which they are established in the world and are playing at life. I think that's the biggest clue for how you'll know them. Okay. I'm just going to ask when. That's the last thing I want to know. When will option 2 come in for pile 3? Option 2. When will option 2 come in? 5. You got the 5 of Swords there, so let's go one more on that. When will option 2 come in? Hanged Man, which is not really a time frame. It's actually suspended time, which almost tells me when you're ready. But the 5 says 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months. Something tells me that these, because it's an option, they have to almost come in around the same time. Before you get too connected to either one of them, they have to almost come in around the same time, which makes that, since this is autumn, would make this closer to 5 weeks. It could be 5 days because we are in September. But I think 5 weeks is what that's saying. Or 5 months, again, depending. I think it's still autumn. Let's just say that. I'll go one more on that. I'm going one more on that wind for the 2. This may also be when you're relaxed. I'm getting that very strongly. So it may be a vacation. When you least expect it. When you're focused on other things, it comes out of the blue. Let's go wind one more time for the option 2. 2 of Swords again on this one. Why? Intuition. A decision you don't want to look at. 2 for timing, though. I'm just going to keep going until it becomes plain. I think it's at the same time. That's what I thought originally, but within days of each other is what I'm going to say. And there's something very watery about this over here. The beach, these guys are even at the beach. So I think it's in the fall, and it's within 5 days of each other. And I think the beach plays, for some of you, not all of you, there are other options here, but for some of you, the beach plays very heavily. The ocean, whatever body of water is nearest to you, wherever you go. Maybe it's a huge like one of the Lake Michigans or one of those big ones. The big body of water that is around you plays a big part in the when you will meet this person, the where you will meet this person. But that 2 of Swords talks about it's just going to be really tough to make that decision once you do meet both of these people, you kind of like them both. You're going to have to use your intuition a little bit. And this also says you might, yeah, I'm not going to try to sway you either way, but it's going to be a tough decision once you meet these people, because they both have really, really good qualities that you like. Oh, well, that's kind of a nice dilemma, isn't it? To finish this up, I just want to get one final message for pile 3. One final message on this exciting love reading for pile 3. One final message for pile 3. Speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change lives, including your own. This is a very beautiful card, but you know what I notice about it? Look, there's 2. Oh, y'all. I just kind of doubling down on that. You got 2 options here. Nice. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for my pile 3s. Very exciting. Put a comment down below if this is your reading and tell me how this turns out, because this is super fun. I'm sending you all lots of light and love. Namaste.